I wanted to share this piece I wrote called "This is not the etrog I wanted, but when Sukkot gives you etrogim." This is part of the first post on my newsletter and a video I'm going to put on top. So if you're reading the newsletter, looking at the newsletter, definitely watch or read the newsletter, whatever's best for you. One of my great joys each year is selecting a lulav and an etrog. Like many, I thoroughly enjoy examining each one to find one that speaks to me. I remember living in Jerusalem while in rabbinical school, walking through vast markets with thousands of options. Judaism is extremely intellectual. So much of it uses your mind to pray, to bless, to learn. These are all based on our ability to engage our imagination, our creativity, our curiosity. As much as Talmud is filled with stories of emotion, and it is filled with such stories, so much more of it is about how we think through situations. That intellectuality is one of the reasons I love being and doing Jewish. It's one of the ways I engage deepest in the tradition. The back and forth and the logical arguments are honestly exhilarating for me. Sukkot is exactly the opposite. It is all heart and physicality. This is an important counterpoint in approach that creates an essential balance, not just in the season of the holidays, but internally as we observe Jewish customs. We build a sukkah, we shake plants, we sit outside. These supremely physical acts engage different muscles, excuse the pun, than we normally use. They require us to be grounded in our own personal Judaism, the form of Judaism that fills our homes. They require us to marvel at the strangeness of Judaism. Let's not lie, shaking fruit is weird. And they require us to experience something with our bodies. Similar to tefillin, another very physical mitzvah, Sukkot asks us to bring something different to the equation. More than any of that, though, Sukkot asks us to be joyful. And truthfully, joy is not easy. Sukkot is described as Zman Simchatenu, the time of our joy. And understanding these two key words are important. Zman means time. Judaism designates very few physical places as sacred, but instead consecrates time. This very limited resource is made precious through our intentionality and our awareness. Shabbat, holidays, and shared moments together, each one of those is sacred. We all live in profoundly noise-filled lives. This barrage makes it challenging to be present. This cacophony demands that our brains pay attention to so much that does not deserve it. The pandemic, on top of all of that, has forced us into a dangerous obstacle course every time we leave our homes. Sukkot is a reminder to be present, to take a break, to stop grinding away and pause. Simchatenu means our joy. Now we might ask, what does real joy look like? What does this concept actually mean? A value concept adjusts its meaning to the context, but shares some unified qualities. I've been reading Max Kedushin's The Rabbinic Mind, which is all about explaining value concepts, and you'll hear about it later. A Simchat Bat celebrates the birth of a daughter. Simchat Torah, holiday coming up, celebrates our collective act of reading and engaging with Torah. At a wedding, we say that the couple should sameach with one another. In each of these, simcha, joy, is intrinsically linked with interacting with other people and with gratitude. We are grateful for that new child, we're grateful for Torah, and we're grateful to our partner. On Sukkot, we are grateful for everything we have. Rooted in the bounty of harvest, we are expected to reflect on what we have. During the pandemic, we are more disconnected from each other than ever, so we must lean in to that gratitude. Zman Simchatenu. It's time to be joyous through gratitude. This year, I didn't get to choose my lulav nor my etrog. I love them when they're bright yellow, all one color, and with no blemishes. I used to buy mine without the pitome at the end, the small protrusion. It's way less anxiety-producing. They just grow that way. And for context, if the pitome at the end breaks, it's no longer halachically acceptable. I like my lulav to be very straight with none of the tips bent in any way. This year, my etrog is green and yellow together. It's not a single color. My lulav has a slight bend. Now I could choose to be frustrated and upset. The pandemic has stolen a Jewish ritual that I love. I know that I cannot fill my sukkah with many guests. The pandemic took that too. But instead, I'm going to lean into the gratitude. I'm going to whisper myself in moments of frustration, Zman simchatenu, Zman simchatenu. I'm going to find something beautiful in this etrog that I never would have chosen. In some sense, it chose me this year. When life hands you etrogim, you make etrogade, or etrog jelly, or etrog liqueur, whatever floats your boat. For this Sukkot, as we navigate the complicated, conflicting world that we live in, all we have to do is remember that this is Zman Simchatenu. All you have to do is sit in peace, shake some fruit, and find some gratitude. Moedim l'simcha. Have a wonderful holiday.